Good evening, everyone. It's March the 6th, 2024. Tonight I'm just going to, it's in the evening, and I'm going to give you a little update tonight on what's been going on this week. On Wednesday, I had another meeting with the Homeless Alliance of Ottawa here, and they had their monthly meeting, and it was interesting because I had the City of Ottawa, two branches that work on the doing with the homeless in the fact that they are doing the financing for the funding and that for the housing units, as well as they had another branch that was interesting because they work all over different sections of the city, and they've been scouring the city as well for housing that can be used, or old buildings, or that they can be retrofitted into apartments and things like this. And they've been identifying lots and stuff like this. And in their both their investigations, I found out that they kind of needed to come together. So they're just this last month they've branched out from looking all over the city. It wasn't completely working, so they've put another intermediate branch in, working with actually those who are actually doing the funding for the people who, for the nonprofit, let's say, who wish to fund and go through the process with the city to build the affordable housing and the supportive housing. So it was a very interesting meeting, especially finding out some of the drawbacks and what we're facing. And one of the big things that we found out through both branches was a lot of things have been identified that we could start using now, but the process is very difficult. For example, right now, with the federal government and the provincial government fighting over the fact that we need they want to put buildings in 4 apartments per lot right now. And the federal government is saying yes, and the provincial government is saying no, and our municipality is saying yes. And so that's a fight over that. But also in this fight is to get to that point, we have the problem of bylaws that have to be changed. And this is where it may take a while because they're in the process of trying to change the bylaws. But from what we're understanding from this meeting, that could take 18 to 20 months before we get the bylaws changed, because it's got to go through city council, it's got to go through consultation processes and everything else. So this is one of the things that holds it up. Although it was one of the interesting things was the one that has the funding says, well, we've got the funding. The city was approving that just under 180 million that the federal government gave us, the city, for housing. And then the federal government has now given out more funding for the city as well. But we found out that particular funding, it has to be used by 2026. So there's all these processes that have to be done. And then one of the things that was interesting, the city was saying that, let's say a nonprofit organization wants to get an affordable housing built, they have a process that they have to go through. And they're finding that when they go to the city, they need all their information together. Like, you really have to dot your I's and cross your T's. Because if you mess up the application forms in any way, that can delay the process as well. So we were getting some very interesting information on this. And then, of course, we've been seeing other things coming forth as well from the federal government. I think it's possibly a great idea that they're starting to have loans out, low interest loans that they want to put out for those that want to build a funding to get this housing going as well. So that's another interesting thing. And again, the government's doing whatever they can to try and get the funding going. But again, we have that process and to go through. So it's a huge, long process sometimes. And then there was another article that was saying too that during the pandemic, of course, all the housing just went down. I mean, everybody was in lockdowns basically, so we're not up to par as to what was being done with the housing to 2019 prior to the pandemic, but we're making gains, and the federal government has definitely dropped the GST, or the HST, pardon me, or the GST, sorry, just my mistake here, for the materials, buying the materials to build the houses. So that's another way, and that seems to be kickstarting it a bit, and we're seeing it going up like last year's statistics. So that's another good thing that's happening. But we're also seeing that all the funding, but it may take some time. And this is what another expert I heard on the news was saying. All the stuff that we've got, it may take 5 to 10 years to get this really kicked in and really going, and perhaps enough housing for the people we have today. And we also have to look at further down the future for, say, another 20 years from now. What kind of population are we going to have? So it's really an interesting situation that we're facing. I've never seen so many people behind the scenes and working at this as hard as they can to try and ease things in for people, to make it easier for the housing too. I know there's a lot of things, and I know we're in a historic area of the city too, and we don't want to lose all our historic buildings as well. So that's another thing that we're battling as well, and we're probably in the most historic part of the city, and when the tours come down to the market here, we're getting condos and everything put up around us, and that's not right. We should be able to preserve part of the history here at the same time, and they're looking at, and we should be looking more at the outlying areas, but they're looking at the putting more density downtown. Part of that is due to the fact that we've now got empty government buildings, and some of them are being converted into apartments at the same time. But are they going to be affordable apartments? Don't know. And I think we have to have some kind of measure in place that when these buildings are built, that they are definitely going to be affordable housing or supportive housing. We have to make sure of that, because we don't want the wool pulled over our eyes either. So I just wanted to brief people in on that today. So it was just a little update. I'll have some more updates soon. But everyone, take care. Have a great evening, and we shall, and be safe, definitely, and watch your surroundings, and we shall talk again soon. And take care, everyone. Bye-bye.